changes happen. Some changes you like, some changes you don't. Some changes you have to decide whether you liked it better before or after. I've talked a little bit before about changes in travel. When I was a small child in the Orient, we would come back to the U.S. for home leave on luxury ocean liners. We would promenade the deck, and then we would lie back in our deck chairs and cover ourselves with heavy steamer blankets. And pretty soon, about 11 o'clock, they'd come around with tiffin, consomme, and crackers to tide us over until lunch. My parents would dine on multi-course meals, sometimes at the captain's table. Then afterwards, they would dance the evening away under the stars. My sister and I would race up the spiral staircases, looking at the frescoes on the ceiling, and then we'd go back to the deck and watch the horse races. Little wooden horses would go across the deck to the roll of the dice. Our dinners were in the children's dining room, and we were supervised by matrons in white dresses. And at the end of the voyage, we just had the children's tea party, where we'd have hot chocolate and little cakes with colored icing. When we got back, we were really ready to go on and start life again. Of course, if you were waiting for a letter on one of these ocean liners, you might wait 2 months for it to come. And your magazines would be wishing you a Merry Christmas in the middle of February. Now today, things are a lot faster. You go to the airport, you line up, check your suitcase. And then you go to security and go through watch the TSA employees walk through all your things. I myself have been patted down twice. I look like a terrorist. Anyway, then we go, to the plane and put your carry-on in the overhead if there's room for it. And then you get crammed into seats 3 abreast and arrive at your destination ready for a couple of days of jet lag. Car travel, on the other hand, is definitely a lot safer than it used to be. Back then, my 6-year-old grandson today, he sits in the back seat. He's still in his seat, in his car seat, but he hooks his own safety belt in. Back when I raised his father, kid safety had not caught up with car safety. We had a 2-door sedan. We'd open the door, get in, and to get in the back seat, we'd push down the top of the passenger seat, slide into the back, and then pull it back up. And if we were driving, the car seat I'd put my son in was a little thing that hooked over the front seat. Well, once I started driving, you really had to watch out for a sudden stop or a red light, because I'd have to drive with my left hand and throw my arm across the front seat, or he might have gone right through the windshield, when that seat flopped forward. Then when the kids got a little older and they started bike riding, they had their usual share of scrapes and bruises. Fortunately, nobody ever got a concussion because nobody thought of wearing a helmet, when you rode a bike. So now they're grown, and I often marvel that my children survived to adulthood. Today as a grandparent, I look on things a little differently. My kids have their smartphones. I have a cell phone, but sometimes I feel like the grandchildren, they're so involved with their phone, they hardly have time to talk. In fact, they say, "Mom, we don't have time to talk. We don't have time for phone calls or emails. Please text." Well, we do have cell phones with a little keyboard, but I haven't gone to a smartphone yet because I like to hear their voices and I like to hear their pauses. And children feel the same way. Recently there was an NPR program that said the primary way children learn is by interacting face to face. And you miss that with the phone. In fact, you may have seen over Christmas that not so many kids went to the mall to talk to Santa. They just wrote out their list, or their parents did, and sent it on the iPad. I think something is missing here. Anyway, when I was a child, spending the summer in rural Maine, we had a 4-party phone line. We could hear the neighbors breathe as we talked on the phone. And news traveled fast. But what we lost in privacy, we sort of made up with a sense of community. If somebody was sick, you'd know right away you better take them a casserole for dinner. If somebody's car broke down, you'd offer them a ride. And today, everything is much more impersonal. And a change is definitely happening. And one thing you know for sure is that change is the one thing in life that will always happen. Whatever happened today will be a little different tomorrow.